What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Show, where I, Graham G.S. and Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're talking the 4th of July edition of Raw Talk from July 4th, 2022. Usually I break down Raw Talk on Tuesdays, but due to the holiday and I watched Ms. and Mrs. first, didn't have time yesterday to watch the show, I'm reviewing it today instead. But normally these reviews do drop on Tuesdays, the day after Raw Talk airs after Raw on Mondays. Really nothing out of the ordinary about this episode, though we did have Jackie Redmond and Matt Camp back in the studio. Redmond had been gone for a few weeks, I think, dealing with other sports-related duties or whatever. She was back on Talking Smack, I think, on Saturday, as I reviewed that day. She was in studio. Matt Camp was not. He was on site in Vegas for Money in the Bank. He was back in studio as well. To start off the show, they run down the biggest headlines from Monday's holiday edition of Raw. In addition to recapping the women's tag team match that saw Bianca Belair and Liv Morgan knock off Natalya and Carmella in tag team action, Matt Camp questions when and if we will see Liv Morgan back on Raw now that she is the new SmackDown Women's Champion, and all signs point to her being a member of the Blue Brand going forward. Though I will say this, we had the Intercontinental Champion Gunther on Raw on Monday. So there really is no brand split anymore. We had SmackDown stars on Monday. If nothing was stopping Natalya and Gunther and people like that from appearing on Raw this week for no real reason, and I'm not really complaining about Gunther, I love him, Natalya not so much, but if they're able to appear on Raw with no repercussions, although they're a part of SmackDown, then what the fuck is stopping Liv Morgan from appearing on the show? So I really wouldn't put it past them for her to be back either next Monday or the Monday after that, especially as we head into SummerSlam at the end of the month. Bianca Belair is happy. We hear from her backstage with Sarah Schreiber. Bianca tells Sarah that she's happy that her and Liv were able to score the win in their tag team match on Raw, and she's glad that Liv did not cash in her Money in the Bank contract on her on Saturday's pay-per-view. She knows that Liv is going to be an amazing champ, and when asked, how it feels to be the EST all the time, she says there's no rest for the best. Matt Camp says that Bianca is undoubtedly on top right now. The only other woman that would be in that conversation would be Ronda Rousey, but she lost her championship on Saturday. So Bianca truly is the EST of WWE right now. Matt Camp says this is what Liv Morgan has been working for the longest time, and he brings up how a month ago, or rather a year ago on TV, the Liv Morgan fans, myself included, wanted her to win last year's women's Money in the Bank ladder match. She didn't. She got several championship opportunities for the Raw Women's title, for the tag team titles. She lost every one. And people were really starting to wonder. I myself said even less than a week ago, she's like the ultimate loser at this point. She's still over, but they never really have her win whenever it matters most. I'm glad I was wrong about that. They had her booked. They booked her to win on Saturday. She deserves it. And I think, despite all the complaints, she doesn't feel like a real champion. I can't even complain. I've wanted for the longest time for this woman to be champion, at least for the last year, is really when I jumped on the Liv Morgan bandwagon, because she's gotten a lot better. And she deserved that opportunity, and they finally put the fucking belt on her. I hope the reign isn't 3 or 4 weeks long, and they have her lose it to Ronda Rousey or whoever at SummerSlam, but let's enjoy it while it lasts. Anyway, back to the studio, they recap Asuka and Becky Lynch in the no-holds-barred main event, which was won by Becky. Good match. Matt Camp says that Becky is back to where she needs to be. He teases a title shot maybe for Becky Lynch, and I know Asuka teased wanting a title match too. Alexa Bliss said she wanted the title match, and I thought there was someone else. Maybe it was Carmella because she attacked Bianca at the pay-per-view, and she kind of mentioned as much on Raw this week. So maybe next week we get a triple threat: Carmella, Becky, and Alexa Bliss, and the winner gets a title shot at the next pay-per-view. I want Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss to be the next program, personally. I don't think it will be. They could be building to Becky and Bianca part whatever at the next pay-per-view, because they haven't done the match since WrestleMania. They had the triple threat at Hell in a Cell, but they have not had a singles match since Mania when Bianca beat her. So that's what they're setting up for. I can't really complain about that because it's something we've seen before, but they have great chemistry. Becky never got a one-on-one rematch, and it is 1 year removed from when they had their first match at SummerSlam 2021, so I can't really complain about that. From there, they recap the Judgment Day's loss to the Mysterios by DQ. Backstage, Finn Balor says that you can't pull that fancy stuff off as far as the Eddie Guerrero finish in that tag team match, and they will not stop until they learn not to mess with the Judgment Day, that being the Mysterios. And Damian Priest, in Spanish, offers Dominic, the offer still stands as far as Dominic being a part of Judgment Day, which I don't think is going to happen. I don't think it should happen. But that's where we are with that. Matt Cam says that Dominic should seriously consider that offer, considering he really hasn't held gold in the last year, and that could be his ticket back to superstardom. Although I would definitely turn it down because Judgment Day has never felt colder. Since Finn Balor took it over, Rhea Ripley got hurt, I get it, but even just them being on Raw Talk, you didn't see the other Judgment Day members on Raw Talk, did you? When they were with Edge, I mean, I don't know. I just think the whole thing has been dumb, but that's just me. Although the match on Monday was very good. From there, they replay the hot dog eating contest as well as the 6-man tag team match from Monday that saw Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits knock off Theory and Alpha Academy in 6-man tag team action. To close out the show, they run down what we know so far for SummerSlam, that being Corbin and McAfee. Logan Paul will be at the pay-per-view, probably facing The Miz, but that hasn't been announced yet, although it's probably going to end up being Logan Paul and AJ Styles, which I don't know how I feel about that, versus Miz and Ciampa based on what we saw on Monday. And we already know Roman and Brock, obviously, for the undisputed WWE title, and what was the other match? Or I thought it was 3 matches that were announced. Oh, Theory and Lashley as well for the United States Championship. They also recap Rollins beating Ezekiel on Monday's Raw. Backstage, Riddle says that he got his revenge on Rollins for what he did to him 2 or 3 weeks ago on Raw, and that was really all that we heard from Riddle, kind of a pointless promo there backstage. And to close out the show, Matt Cam says that he feels there's a collision course coming between those two, probably heading into SummerSlam, which I'm all for. And then they promote NXT's Great American Bash, which was last night on USA, which was a good show in my opinion. So that was Raw Talk for July 4th, 2022. Thank you guys for checking out this review. I appreciate it, albeit delayed, but again, it will be back on Tuesdays, hopefully next week, if I'm not busy. But yeah, again, thank you as always for checking out these videos. I appreciate it. If you haven't already, check out my interview right now that went up yesterday afternoon with the now former #1 contender to the NXT Championship, Cameron Grimes, baby. He's here on the channel right now in video form, talking all about that opportunity, his NXT journey, and so much more. So if you haven't already checked out that interview, I would greatly appreciate it. Have a great rest of your weekend, guys, or rather week. It's not quite the weekend yet. It's only Wednesday. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.